If you guys don't use stock analysis or seeking alpha or something along them lines to do your research, then you're gravely missing out. This ain't a promo or anything. I don't get paid by these guys, but I bought into the year subscription or whatever it was. I forget if it's a flat fee for stock analysis, and I use that for a lot of my research to track things in the market. Anyway, let's get to the point of this video. We're going to see what QQQI has done lately in price action. And the reason I say this is because I'm gonna put a warning out there. It's going the last month basically. We're down 4% currently. Now let's compare this to the triple Q and see if we got a relative performance on price. This is actually a cautionary video today. This is total return. Okay, let's bring that to price change. So you could do all this stuff yourselves, guys. So let's go to 1 month and see what the price change is. And they're neck and neck. They're right there alongside each other. So for the degree of drop in the NASDAQ, represented by QQQ, QQQQI, a covered call fund, in price action has a relatively similar performance. You see that? If we change this time frame though and look at recoveries, in a V-shaped recovery, if we go out to like a year, it lagged the triple Q. You see that V-shaped recovery that the triple Q's had, the NASDAQ 100, since the lows? Look at the blue line, that's QQQI, and you see it lagged on price action. And ever since that recovery, now we're trying to round out. If you look at the chart, we're rounding out a little bit. We're in like a distribution pattern. That means we're likely to go lower on the NASDAQ 100. There's a lot of scares around too much CapEx being spent, CapEx, capital expenditures being spent on the AI stuff, and no revenue streams that are showing massive growth regarding AI and the amount of CapEx they're spending. This is why you're having this drop in the NASDAQ, and it's also exacerbated by the fact that the software sector of the NASDAQ has been dumping like crazy. Now, during like a bear market, or let's say you get into a prolonged market of this sideways chop, you can see what these funds do and how they behave. And so if the NASDAQ enters in this chop phase, look at it last month, it's down 4%. QQQI is going to do the same thing, but continue to pay out distributions, but it's going to suffer on price. That's the fear I have around covered call funds, and that's why I don't go all in on any one of them. I wait for these dips, but I also wait for the market catalyst to tell me something. What kind of market are we in? Are we going to be in a V-shaped recovery if the market sells off, or are we going to chop sideways in like a flat market indefinitely, potentially? So you're getting a discount currently on QQQI, but the discount, in my opinion, can go much lower, especially if we keep chopping and rounding out like we've been doing on the chart of the NASDAQ. You look at the triple Q, the orange line, we've been chopping in this channel for quite some time already, and basically it's suffering, right? But if you look at QQQI, it's suffering worse. It didn't get the same sort of V-shaped recovery. And that's the thing about these covered call funds. They're never going to emulate the underlying exactly. They're going to lag. Of course, if you change this for price change, you'll see a difference because you get that dividend, right? So we can look at total return. Let's bring up percentage. And you'll see a different story on total return because you keep in mind these are dividend funds, right? But just keep in mind, you got to expect you're going to have some NAV erosion if you have this choppy kind of market. So to buy in when you got this uncertainty now, where we had previously been topping out, to buy in now, you got to expect you might have some NAV erosion on QQQI. That's what I'm warning people of. I love the fund. I own a few hundred shares of this fund. Over its lifetime, it's done very well, but currently we're going through something of a pullback, and you can see that on the chart. On the 1 year, we're down almost 2%, 6 months, 2.5%, 3 month, almost 5% currently. So you see that price action where it topped out around 55 plus. We're down quite a bit from that top. So if we don't get a bid in the market in the NASDAQ sector and the tech sector pretty soon, this ain't going to continue to chop lower. So it's going to be at a considerable discount over time if we get into like especially a bear market in the NASDAQ. All right, guys, that's my cautionary for these covered call funds, especially like Nasdaq related currently, because of the fear of capex not being matched by incoming revenue from the AI that they're trying to generate. All right, guys, take care.